Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Lance Corporal Victor Monroe DeWalt Bridge dedication. My name is Ed Preston. I'm the chairman of the Pennsylvania Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund, and this is Bucks County Bridge 226, which in a few minutes will then be called Lance Corporal Victor Monroe DeWalt Memorial Bridge. I'd like to have a presentation of the colors by the Wallace Willard Keller American Legion Post 242 Quakertown and John Rivers Memorial VFW Post 11322 Joint Color Guard. Colors. I'm going to ask all those in the audience to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Those in uniform, salute. Everyone else, hand over your heart, please.
Right shoulder arms.
I pledge allegiance
to the arms.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order arms.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Order arms.
What a gorgeous day and a gorgeous bridge. It's rural here, as we can see, and some of us that got here. So living out here must have been an incredible experience back in the early 50s and 60s. Untouched by civilization and not a lot to do but hang outside, play in the creek, hunt and fish. It sounds like a great way to grow up and start a life. Vic started that life here, moved to a few other places, but started here. He went to high school. At the age of 17, dropped out and joined the U.S. Marines. Tragically, on November 10th, 1970, he lost his life in Vietnam, which brings us to today, Thursday, September 19th, 2024, to honor and remember our hero, our hometown hero, Victor Monroe DeWalt. I'd like to welcome Vic's family that are in attendance with us today, and any of those that may be watching us live on Facebook. We hope you're getting a signal today. If you're not, we will have this posted as a video on Bucks County's website and our Facebook page in a few days. I'd like to introduce Peter Chong, Veterans Advocate for Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are all here today to honor United States Marine Vietnam veteran Lance Corporal Victor Monroe DeWalt. Unfortunately, Congress is in session this week, so the Congressman is in Washington, D.C., but he wanted me to pass along his gratitude and thanks to Ed and the county for making this happen, for doing the legwork and making this a reality. Most importantly, I thank Victor's nieces and his great-nieces for being here today as we dedicate this bridge for their uncle's ultimate sacrifice in which Victor gave for our country that we also love. Ask any veteran about a fallen comrade, and every single one will have a story to tell about these heroes. Whether it's from hostile action, friendly fire, or the all-too-common mental health struggles, we all hold the memories of our sisters and brothers in arms close. These invisible scars fade with time, but they never go away. The renaming of this bridge ensures that the legacy of Victor's sacrifice is enshrined in the daily life of our community. For myself, the DeWalts, and the veterans here today, we need no reminder of his heroism and our loss. But we must look past our pain to realize that this bridge, much like Victor's memory, is not just for us. This bridge highlights the story of an incredible young man who placed his aspirations on hold to heed the call of duty, who took up arms in the defense of freedom around the world, freedoms we all take for granted when we get caught up in the petty troubles of our privileged lives. Victor's Bridge is a humbling reminder to us all the price paid for our continued liberty. So at this time, on behalf of Congressman Fitzpatrick, I would like to present the DeWalt family flag that was flown over the United States Capitol in honor of Lance Corporal Victor Monroe DeWalt.
Thank you, Peter. I'd like to introduce Matt Allen, Director of Bucks County Veterans Affairs.
I'd first like to thank Victor for volunteering during a war that many believed wasn't justified. We gather today with a solemn purpose to reflect on a tragedy that unfolded in the heart of a conflict. During a time when nations were divided and lives were forever changed. The Vietnam War was a chapter in history marked by immense sacrifice, loss, and complexity. Among the many casualties were not only those who perished in direct combat, but also those whose lives were taken in a tragic accident, accidental homicides that occurred in the fog of war. Today, we speak specifically of American soldier Victor DeWalt, whose life was unintentionally cut short during that conflict. War, as we know, is chaotic. It thrusts individuals into situations where decisions are made in split seconds, under immense pressure, and often in the absence of complete information. In such a fraught environment, accidents, though unintentional, can have devastating consequences. This accidental loss serves as a constant reminder of the cost of war. It was not only Victor's life that was lost, but the futures of their loved ones, the hopes they carried, and the dreams they were never able to fulfill. The DeWalt family suffered unimaginable grief, and today we honor them as well. In times of war, accidental deaths blur the lines of responsibility, leaving those involved to grapple with guilt and sorrow. We must remember that while such tragedies may occur under extraordinary circumstances, they leave very real scars on the hearts of those affected. The soldiers who served were caught in a conflict not of their making, and often found themselves facing impossible choices in moments of fear and confusion. To the family of Victor, I offer my deepest condolences. Your loss is not forgotten, although almost 54 years later, you are still here to remember Victor. Today, we acknowledge that your grief is not a burden you carry alone. We, as a society, share in the responsibility of remembering those lost, and we stand with you in mourning. And with this bridge dedication, we will remember Victor. To the Vietnam War and its many complexities taught us hard lessons about the nature of conflict and the price of human life. It is imperative that we continue to reflect on these lessons as we work to foster peace and understanding between nations. We must remember that in war, every life matters, and that even accidental losses leave a legacy of grief that transcends borders and generations. I ask that we all hold Victor's life in our hearts. Let us commit ourselves to building a world where such tragedies need not occur again. I'd also like to thank General Services, especially George Hutt and his crew, for making this bridge the way it looks today. It looks beautiful. And to Ed Preston, commissioners, we thank you for supporting this endeavor. Thank you.
Just a squirrel saying hello. Thank you, Matt. The fog of war and the tragedy that follows is something that thankfully I'll never have to live, and most of us standing here will never have to live. The men behind me, the men directly in front of me, have to deal with that fog of war and the tragedy of maybe taking a life purposefully or accidentally, which is the case of Vic. Confusing orders in a time where confusion was the line of the day. Things happened that shouldn't have happened, things didn't go right, but that's war, as Matt said. But yet, our men and women, young men and women, like Vic, donned a uniform, went into that fire knowing anything could happen. They could come out a hero, they could come out scarred, or maybe not come home at all. But they're all willing to take that chance for us to stand here and be able to dedicate a bridge to a man that did that for us. Again, I can't imagine what that feels like, and I've said it before. Speaking with the men behind me, some in front of me that I've dealt with and talked with, I don't know how any of them could have focused and committed to anything on any given day at any given level with the amount of chaos that surrounded them 24 hours a day. It just seems completely unimaginable to function at that level. But yet they did. And they came home to a place that didn't understand that confusion, didn't understand the hardship or the sacrifice. 54 years later, I think most of us have now come to terms with that sacrifice and the fog of war and see things in a different light, which allows us to come today to dedicate a bridge for a man who gave us that opportunity, Victor Monroe DeWalt. I'm thankful that we have men like that are willing to put on a uniform and stand in front of me and protect me and my family and my way of life. Because again, without them, we can't do this. We can't do anything. So to the DeWalt family, I thank you. And I thank Victor for his service and his sacrifice. War is tragic, but I hope today will bring closure to your family and realize that he will never, ever be forgotten. His name on this bridge will be here forever. People will ride across this bridge, drive across this bridge, see his name, say his name. As long as his name is said, he will live forever. That is the purpose. That is our purpose. Our purpose is to make these men live on beyond us. I think it's awesome that his great nieces are here and they know him. His family has passed that down. That's awesome. Their family will know. So his name will not be forgotten. His legacy will not be forgotten. This now becomes part of his legacy and your family's legacy that you can share. At this time, I'd like to ask the DeWalt family to come up and unveil our sign and dedicate this bridge to Lance Corporal Victor Monroe DeWalt, please.
Color guard. Right shoulder, arm.
Feel free.
Freeze, and arm.
At this time, I'd like to ask if any of the DeWalt family would like to say a few words.
I would.
Feel free.
Well, you have to go.
It's okay, we're right with you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Our family is very, very grateful, very thankful to everyone who made this possible, and to each of you who came here to be with us today. We are extremely grateful that Vic's memory is being honored in this way. Thank you.
You can do anything you want. You may certainly can put it right in there if you want.
I have one.
Sure. Feel free.
Hi. So I'm, Vic would have been my great uncle, but I just wanted to tell you a little story. So growing up, we used to spend a lot of time at my grandparents' house. My Nana, Gloria, was Victor's oldest sister. And because of their family situation, like, she really raised him as her own. Her mom and dad were not really available to do that. And so Victor she called him her baby. And really was his mother in his life for a lot of his life. And so I remember going to my Nana and Pop-Up's house all the time, and his picture was on their living room wall. It was him in his Marines uniform. And so that's really how I got to know him, because in their house, it was just, there's Uncle Vic on the wall. And so that was Uncle Vic. And my Nana has passed on. She's not here with us anymore. But I just know that this would really just be such an honor for her to know that not just us are remembering Victor, but that that everyone is. That there are other people that care about his service and his sacrifice and the life he lost at such a really young age. And so thank you for that. I don't know, I know there were lots of people who put it together, but it was something that, wasn't on our radar until we got a phone call like a week and a half ago. Oh, by the way, we're dedicating a bridge to Victor DeWalt, and it's just been a really lovely surprise. So we're really grateful. So thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce Bucks County Commissioner Bob Harvey.
Thank you, Ed. On behalf of Commissioner Marsegle, Commissioner DiGirolamo, and county government, I want to thank Ed Preston, Pennsylvania Vietnam War Memorial Committee for all their work, the American Legion and VFW posts for being here, our Veterans Affairs Director, Matt Allen, our General Services for all their work, not just on the bridge, but setting up today, our Communications Department for all their work, the Warriors Watch, who are here all the time. We really appreciate your presence here. And to the DeWalt family. A few weeks ago would have been Victor's 75th birthday. And I think it's a good reminder, as he would be roughly the age of a lot of the gentlemen behind me, that it is our youngest generation that we send off to protect us, to serve us, and to keep us free. Victor was 21 years old when he lost his life, making him slightly above average for the American Vietnam service member, the average age of whom was 19. We think about the family he left behind, but we also think about the family he never had a chance to have. That's the sacrifice that we honor. The life that could have been led. That for a few meters, a few inches, he could have been standing behind us, holding a flag for someone else who this bridge would be honored, would be named in honor of. It is, a sad fact of war, that it is the young men, young women who serve us who are the ones who don't come home. It is the very least we can do to honor their memory, to take bridges like this one in this remarkably beautiful setting, and attach their name to it and make it a part of this county's permanent history. And this county, as you know, has played a tremendous role in the history of this country. And so adding this name to the other names of the other bridges we've dedicated is truly, it's a blessing for us to be able to do it. And I thank everyone who's been involved with it. I suppose for the Marines who may be present, there is some small solace in knowing that Lance Corporal DeWalt, himself obviously Marine, gave the ultimate sacrifice on what was the 195th birthday of the United States Marine Corps, November 10th, 1970. And so that certainly is another part of his story that we honor today. So thank you all for being here. Thank all those for putting this together. And God bless the DeWalt family. And it's wonderful to think that he is looking down now with your grandmother, seeing you, and seeing this bridge, and he's at peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Very well said. I'm sure he is looking down, and I hope he has a smile. This is, as Bob said, one of 13 that we've dedicated to Vietnam veterans. When we continue on this journey, next month in Percy will be our next bridge dedication. The date is undetermined, I don't think. We'll come up with that. But the next bridge will be in Percy, in downtown Percy, next month. And I want to thank all you for coming. I really appreciate it. The DeWalt family, I hope you have a wonderful day. Warrior Watch Riders, thank you for participating today. We appreciate your coming out. Color Guard, thank you, sir. Colors. And that will conclude our ceremony for today.